Welcome to the Goodbudget Way, where we share real-life stories about everyday people from all walks of life who spend, save, and give to what's truly important in life. I'm your host, Chien. Welcome to the first episode of 11 in Season 1 of the Goodbudget Way. This is a podcast that's about budgets, but it's not just about dollars and cents. So we definitely do care about numbers. At Goodbudget, we make software that helps you track transactions and expenses and saving and giving. But in this podcast, we're going to really talk about the interplay between the numbers about budgets and the values around budgets. And by values, I mean what's truly important in life. Because we actually believe that the way we handle money reflects and shapes our character, our values, our relationships, emotions, and habits. Now, we wanted to do this project. It's super close to my own heart because so many reasons. For one, I feel like oftentimes the conversation around budgeting in the internet world it devolves into either just numbers and cents and spreadsheets, or kind of this really practical, like you got to do this, save this, spend that, etc., etc. And while all of that is necessary and practical and useful, it kind of misses the mark on our own humanity. I think budgets actually have an opportunity to give us the opening to imagine more of who we could be. Because different ones of us have different things that are truly deeply important to us. Now, of course, all across humanity, there are some kind of basic values that are important to everyone, right? Everyone wants to be kind, to be generous, to have deep relationships. And then also among certain ones of us, we're uniquely gifted to care even more deeply about certain things, right? Some folks care even more deeply about care for the earth. Other people care particularly deeply about really radical, crazy generosity. And our budget choices are ways that we actually get to play that out, and in that sense, kind of go deeper in who we really are. So we thought that we wanted to be inspired ourselves and also inspire all of you by sharing stories from folks who are doing this kind of thing, who are spending, saving, and giving to what's truly important in life. Now, most of the stories in Season 1 of The Goodbudget Way are about big ticket items. Big ticket items are things like housing, transportation, childcare, and college. And the reason we've chosen these items in this season is pretty simple. Those are the biggest parts of our budgets, both in terms of numbers and in terms of values, because where we put money says something about what's truly important to us. Now, most of the time, when we're really feeling the squeeze, we're often standing at the checkout counter trying to buy groceries for the week or figuring out how we're going to pay the gas bill each month. But the thing is, the choices we make about big ticket items have a huge impact on how much space we feel we have, or don't have, to buy groceries and pay bills. And at the end of the day, they make up a huge part of how good we feel, or don't, about the choices we're making in our lives. Now, the folks we're going to hear from have made some interesting choices around spending, saving, and giving to what's truly important in life. And we're definitely not saying that there's one right way to budget, and definitely not that everyone needs to do it the same way. So the reason we're bringing the stories to all of you is to spark imagination for all of you, and myself included. What might it mean for us to spend, save, and give to what's truly important in life after we hear stories from some of the guests that we're going to have on? The folks that we're going to hear from represent a variety of life stages. Some of them are single, some are married without kids, other people have young kids, other people are sending kids off to college. So we kind of tried to get folks who could tell the story from different parts in their lives. The Goodbudget Way, at its core, is about life. It's about living. It's about living out the values that are closest to our hearts in the context of money. So what we do with money, how we talk about it, who we talk to, and why we make the choices that we do. Really, it's an invitation to relate to money differently, where we spend in line with our values, stick with a budget, deepen relationships, grow in character, and have our financial lives transformed. It's built around 4 ideas. Specifically, budget with a Y, live out your budget, talk with people you trust, and give generously. So budget with a Y is really about what is truly important in life and making money decisions that fall in line with what's truly important in life to us. Carissa is going to be here to share with us her story of looking for an apartment where she was able to identify what's truly important to her and decide what's enough, which is another key concept in this idea of budgeting with a Y. What's enough apartment? How do I actually make choices in that vein? The second idea in the Good Budget Way is live out your budget. Now, that could sound kind of like, duh, you make a budget, you got to try to live it out. But in reality, things always come up. And so that's why it's so key to say goodbye to guilt and adapt it along the way. So we're going to get to hear from Danny, Cindy, and Brendan, who will share about their process of saving for and paying for college and address real-world questions like what happens when you can't or choose not to save all the money for an expense as big as college for 3 kids, and how to stick with it even when that happens. The third idea in the Good Budget Way is talk with people you trust. Now, one of the basic things that we always recommend is that if you share money with someone, you should be talking with them about it. Becky and Kenny are going to be here to share with us how they've talked about money in their own marriage, how they've moved past the taboo around money, and enabled themselves to see their own blind spots through those conversations. And then Shiming and Juliet will be here to talk with us about how they've talked with folks they trust, not just in their own marriage, but with other people outside their marriage, and how that's really given them joy in deepening relationships with others. And the fourth idea in the Good Budget Way is give generously. Money does not have to always be about me, or even my family. There's an opportunity for it to be about others. And Jeff's going to be here to share with us his story of how he bought a car and gave generously in the midst of that. He'll engage questions like, what does it mean to give money and more? And what does it mean to experience freedom through giving? In each episode, we'll bring you real stories from everyday people who spend, save, and give to what's truly important in life. So you'll get to hear directly from our guests with me. On the next episode, we'll get to hear from Carissa, who will be here to share with us her story of hunting for her first apartment. She'll talk to us about how she figured out what was truly important to her in an apartment, how she and her roommate compromised when they found a place they loved but didn't get, and then talked with each other throughout the process to stay on the same page. Thanks for listening to this intro to the Good Budget Way. If you're looking forward to this podcast, please subscribe to hear all the stories that we have this season. And let us know which ones you're most looking forward to hearing over on our website at goodbudget.com/podcast. And if you're inspired to budget with a Y, get started today with our customizable tools at goodbudget.com, or head on over to Google Play or the App Store to get our app. Happy budgeting!